How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Investing with Zeke. So, man, the market's really disappointing. Like, we're gonna talk about Robinhood, but before we talk about Robinhood, I was angry when I was watching Robinhood drop. I really was. It reminded me so much of Meta. Like, I was on the verge of freaking out, but I didn't. I'm calm now. So let's talk about Robinhood. And Robinhood just had earnings. They missed by a penny. By it for an accounting error that honestly was because they never give any guidance. And honestly, they just didn't know because they were doing the 1% cash back to anybody who rolled over into Robinhood. Anyway, that costed them on earnings, and there is a spot that they're not growing extremely well in. But before we get off into that, please like and subscribe. I forgot to say that. I just started with disappointment because, man, you know what it's like? It's like you have like Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and like Shaquille O'Neal, and then you have like Eric Snow and Kwame Brown and Tyrone Hill. You probably don't even. No disrespect to those players. They're definitely all better than me. However, you have these Wall Street guys. You know what? They come out and they're like, let me get Eric Snow. Because Eric Snow is wearing a hat and he looks cool today. Like, they don't care about the future. Like, you got somebody like Vlad, Jason, insanely good management team, potentially the best innovation in finance. They have the best trading app in finance. I mean, better than Schwab, better than I don't think Schwab. I have Schwab, and they don't do 24-hour trading. I know if I'm going to get on Schwab, it's just for the long haul because they're so trash. All right, realistically, they're really trash. I thought I heard. That's why I paused like that. But anyway, so with all that in mind, I mean, I just don't see what Wall Street's doing. Like, I don't know if they just take paint straight off the wall, scrape it into their hand, and mix it with peanut butter, and make paint chip peanut butter jelly sandwiches. I don't. I really don't understand what's going on. They obviously missed the boat on Palantir. They missed the boat on Meta. They're missing the boat again, in my opinion, on Robinhood. Of course, Alibaba, but that's a whole nother story nobody cares about. But Robinhood, I mean, really, we're just going to sit back and let this company trade. I know they don't make a lot of money, but you want to see something? Let's look at their financials. You want to be so judgy. They do about $2 billion in revenue. So does Palantir. Palantir's trading at like $100 billion. Now, the problem I'm having with Robinhood is you don't really have a place to put them. They almost have to innovate because you can't really put them on, Square's level, right? I mean, a $44 billion market cap, but if you look at the numbers, they're doing $21 billion in revenue a year. Like, that's great. That's really good. PayPal, you got the same thing. They're doing $30 billion. I mean, they're not trading platforms. They don't have a subscription service that's worth anything, like I believe Robinhood has. So, let's get off into it. Let's get off into it. So we do have some bad things. We do have some good things. So the bad thing is they didn't hit their numbers. They missed EPS by like 1 cent. All right, and that's they're doing the 1% cash back. It was like an accounting error. So, but it is bad and it is their fault. But that isn't going to make me go out and sell this company. That's crazy. So, monthly active users, that trade and are on it every month, That's only going up 7% year over year. Another bad thing. I don't like that. I don't really like that. But let's start talking about some of the good things. The last three quarters have been the best quarters in history. So I mean, I love the way that sounds. That we're doing nothing but going up. They plan on doing 1.9 billion by the end of the year, better than last year. And they just have the best tech in the finance industry. It just is what it is. I mean, they're growing altogether 40% a year, which is more than Palantir, and they're making as much as Palantir. But I mean, Palantir does have quite a bit of money on their balance sheet. But they're we're not really comparing them. I'm just messing around. But anyway, Robinhood. Uh, 2 million people have signed up for the Robinhood credit card. I've gotten one. Definitely read the fine print. I'm assuming if you don't use credit cards, they're sending them out to you first, because if this could pretty much sink their business. So they're growing that extremely slow, and I mean not extremely, but slowly, and I can respect that. And that really, once you get those 2 million people that are on who want gold, but you got to have gold in order to get the credit card. So that could convert more gold subscriptions when they actually do um, get all those 2 million rolled in, which I think they plan on doing a lot next year, and then probably by the end of 2027. I don't know. You'd have to ask them, right? I don't really care. That doesn't bother me. And now they're doing the whole voting gambling thing. Hey, if it brings more users, I'm cool with it. I mean, I wasn't going to do it. And they're kind of slick with it because they're trying to get you to write contracts. So you kind of learn how to write contracts. They're not really letting you just buy shares. Clever. They're trying to get more traders, right? We're gonna actually hear from Vlad himself on the technologies he's doing, but Legend, which is for traders, it's for desktop, so people can trade better. More innovation is the way I see that. Um, they only have 100,000 customers that have the credit card right now, and that means they're only like 5-10% into getting through the credit card. So that's another massive thing of growth, along with the desktop trading advancements they've made. That's gonna like double their revenue. It could. They even said that during the conference call. That's what I'm going over here. I like the fact that they're gonna work on a way to send money to other people through Robinhood. That's impressive, but we need something like a Reddit. Like you almost need to have people advertise on Robinhood. I mean, Vlad, I'm talking if you want to listen. I just think you do. I mean, because the way your tech is, I mean, you're like Zuckerberg, man. I like it. I like this. They bought 5 million shares at $19.42, which is definitely, I'm going to be watching for $19. I did add after this 15%, because after 15% drop, if I'm going to double my position, I'm going to start adding there. So I started adding. I don't care, and if it drops to 20 next, I'm going to add more. You don't see companies like this often, so I have no problem owning this, even if we go down to like $5. I don't care. Um, Growth of 30% in deposits year over year, so that's good. 9x in retirements. So they 9x'd from last year their retirement portfolios. Again, another sign of amazing growth. Cryptocurrency has traded over like 115%, I believe it was. And I do believe Jason and Vlad are like the best with earnings. They care about the stock. I've never had a CEO actually care. I really haven't. I mean, I had Alex Carr. He told me to f off and sell his stock if I didn't like the way he acted. Mark, he just wants to build his own fantasy land in this little child universe that he kind of developed. I wish it was more for adults, but it doesn't appear to be. Um, but this is like Vlad caters to adults, caters to trading, cares about the stock, and I think he's a little bit of a trader himself, and I think that's why he really cares about the stock. So, I mean, I rate this. Earnings a B. I mean, they just don't like to give guidance, and that's where I would rate the call a little bit better if they'd actually give some guidance. But let's listen to some new tools that Robinhood's launching before we move on.
Paul, we did talk about how for 3 quarters in a row we've been seeing net inflows from all of the incumbent brokers, and actually as part of the Hood Summit, we announced that we've got multiple of our offers coming simultaneously as part of what we call Hood Week. So that's 1% transfers on brokerage accounts, 2% for customers bringing a margin balance of above 10,000, and 3% for gold customers bringing in retirement accounts. And I think one of the reasons these have resonated is they're uncapped. So you can basically bring in any amount of money, and we would match you these significant amounts on that. So we've even had customers that are pretty close to retirement age, and they have large retirement accounts, and they're bringing their portfolios over to us because the value proposition of getting that 3% instantly is so strong. So we've seen even older customers than what you might consider sort of like a typical Robinhood customer coming in to take advantage of the new tools and the new capabilities that we offer.
I want to talk about maybe an atypical Robinhood customer. I'm not sure. You talk about active traders, and I know you have 2 million people logged into your event. You have a new platform for legendary trading, so very active, I'm guessing, and you've got a desktop platform legendary as well. But do you work at all with institutional or say RIAs? Do you license out your technology to other platforms to use?
We've been getting a lot of requests for that, actually, because the things that we've rolled out for retail consumers over the past year, you can imagine that they're very interesting for institutions as well. For example, we have 24-hour market, which we became the first retail broker in the U.S. to offer 24-hour trading of single name stocks. Now that's expanded to over 1,000 names, including, some of the most popular ones. We have the lowest margin rates in the industry. So these are things that are very useful to retail, but you can imagine, if you're a hedge fund or other institution or a business, you want access to the markets. That's useful to you as well. And if you are a registered investment advisor, as you mentioned, thus far, the focus has been purely on retail. We want to make sure that we're as focused as possible, and we do, frankly, as good of a job as we can on a limited set of things. But I think over time, that's a natural expansion opportunity for us. Institutions care just as much about access to markets and having the lowest possible rates and the best economics.
Vlad, I'm also curious about something you mentioned earlier, this kind of interest in the U.S. election cycle. Certainly, we have seen a lot of single-name trades headed up to that election. We have seen DJT whipsaw quite meaningfully along with other Trump trades in recent days. How are users on your platform trading the election by and large, and how are they reflecting it through the options market, including the spot market?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the interesting developments, and this does have to do with futures as well, is the introduction of prediction markets and presidential election contracts that, is a recent thing. And I think what customers are really showing is that they need more accurate information, and they're turning to some of these alternative sources, not just as a mechanism to trade and hedge risk, but just as a way to kind of get away from the cloudiness and murkiness of these polls. I think polls have lost a lot of their power and credibility over the past few years. And some of these alternative markets, people are putting real money on the line, and I think the signal for that is very strong and powerful.
Do you know what's really fun? Making a website.
I even have YouTube Plus or whatever. It's over. Good. All right. I learned a new thing. Yeah, I mean, they're going to license, they could potentially license their technology. Jesus. Anyway, where do I see a company like Robinhood with the management team the technology. They have some of the best engineers, just like a Tesla. You know, I know it's a finance app, but I mean, this is a $100 billion company, in my opinion. This will be a $100 billion company. I wouldn't reduce my position anything less than, $50 billion market cap. I mean, just off of what we have going for us. I know we're not making really any money, but it's only at a $20 billion market cap right now. That's cheap. Like, have you seen what's out there? Like, what do you want to spend, like $3-4 trillion on Nvidia? You want to spend $100 billion on Palantir, even though they make as much as Robinhood does? Hey, what do you guys want from me? I mean, I'm just saying, I don't see anything in the U.S. markets better than Robinhood. So with that being said, that's why I increased my position by 20%. And if this continues to drop, I mean, God, the fact they can license their technology too, their subscription base. I know they're not Square. I know they're not PayPal, but PayPal and Square aren't growing. Well, I know at least PayPal ain't growing. If anything, they're losing people. I know they have a fortress balance sheet. Robinhood doesn't really, but Robinhood's pretending like they do. They're buying back shares just like a PayPal would, even though they don't really have the money to do it. They just really believe in the company, and God, to have that too. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be buying more of this company, and it's my favorite stock the rest of the year. It just is. It is what it is. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.